In this video, we are going to review what has been learned from Unit 3, Lessons 10 through 12. To complete this review, you will need your iControl student workbook and something to write with. If you do not have what you need at this time, please pause the video and press play when you're ready to continue. If you do not need to view all of the lessons in this video, feel free to skip to the lessons you need to view using the start times provided. In Lesson 10, you will learn how thoughts and emotions influence each other and how to use the interpret and compare strategies to influence emotional change. Let's start by imagining the following situation. You've been eager to go on a class trip to the water park, and now it's the big day. As you're getting on the bus, you realize you forgot your swimsuit and feel like the whole trip is ruined. You will have to swim the entire day in your regular clothes and ride home on the bus wet and probably cold. You realize that people may make fun of you and that the park might not even allow you to swim in regular clothes. You probably feel stupid and are angry with yourself. You might be so focused on not having a swimsuit, you miss out on being silly with your friends on the bus. You are frustrated and think this is going to be a really big deal. Now keep this situation in mind as we move forward. So far, you've learned you can use the choose and change strategy to change the situation or alter your focus to change your emotions. Unfortunately, those strategies may not work in certain situations. You wouldn't be able to use the first two parts of the emotion control process in the water park example because there's nothing you could do to choose or change a situation. Everyone is on the bus and ready to go. It would also be difficult to focus in on the emotion or focus away from it because you are on a noisy, crowded bus. The think strategies, however, would be the next thing to try. The think step refers to changing your thinking about a situation so you can change its emotional importance. You can do this in two ways. You can change how you interpret the situation by thinking about the positive parts of it, or you can compare your situation to a similar one in the past, which helps you figure out if the negative parts of the situation are really that bad. You can interpret the water park situation by realizing the swimsuit isn't that big of a deal and that you can still have fun with your friends. Or you can compare the situation to another situation you've been in and tell yourself that the consequences weren't really that bad in the past and that you can still have a good time. It's important to remember that what we think can affect how we feel, and how we feel can affect what we think. Let's imagine you tried out for the school basketball team, but you didn't make the cut. You might feel embarrassed or sad because you didn't make it, or even angry at the coach for not picking you. You can't choose or change a situation because it already happened, and trying to focus away your emotions isn't working. The next step would be to try and think differently about the situation using the interpret strategy. You can use the interpret strategy to think about how you feel by considering positive and negative thoughts. You could continue to feel embarrassed, angry, and sad that you didn't make the team, or you could change the way you interpret the situation and be proud of yourself for trying out in the first place. Another strategy we can use is the compare strategy. In this strategy, we compare a situation to similar situations we've experienced in the past. For example, you might recall another time you didn't make a team or weren't part of something you wanted to join. Maybe you felt bad last time, but it motivated you to work harder, or you found something else that was just as much fun. Putting things into perspective based on a past experience helps us control our emotions because we can recognize past patterns and use them to help with our current feelings. Locate handout 10.1 in your iControl student workbook to practice applying the think skills to a different emotional situation. Pause the video while you read about Julian's problem and answer the questions. When you're done, press play. Let's turn to the content questions for Unit 3, Lesson 10 in your iControl student workbook to check your understanding of this lesson. Pause the video while you answer the questions. When you're done, press play. For question 1, if you selected A, you're correct. When we use the interpret strategy to control our emotions, we are thinking about how a situation makes us feel. For question 2, if you selected D, you're correct. The compare strategy helps us control our emotions because we are thinking about a similar situation and how we can use what we learned to think about our present situation. In Lesson 11, you'll discover how to use mindfulness and relaxation as ways to calm yourself. You'll still have triggers and intense emotions, but if you learn to be aware and relax in difficult situations, you'll be able to make good decisions even when your emotions are intense. Mindfulness is being aware of your thoughts, emotions, and surroundings and reflecting on them without judging them. Reflecting on our current thoughts and feelings can help us have control over our emotions. In other words, if we're able to tune into what we're thinking and how we're feeling right now, we'll be better able to use self-control instead of being ruled by our emotions. Have you ever had a feeling and immediately thought you shouldn't be feeling it? Or immediately thought, that's dumb, why would I think that? These snap judgments are hard to avoid. In fact, we all have them at different times. Being mindful helps us have fewer of these snap judgments and keep an open mind. Sometimes we're in situations where we don't have the time to practice mindfulness. When this happens, we can use some relaxation techniques to help us during an emotion conflict. One relaxation technique is counting. There are several variations of the counting strategy. Locate handout 11.1 in your student workbook to read about and practice the different counting strategies. Pause the video while you practice counting. When you're done, press play. Another relaxation strategy you can use when you feel yourself becoming tense or frustrated is deep breathing. First, when you breathe in, take slow, deep breaths all the way down to your stomach. Second, when you breathe out, slowly let the air out. Let's try. Close your eyes. Breathe deeply through your nose and push the air down into your stomach. Slowly let the air out through your mouth while slowly counting to 5 in your head. Lastly, we can use muscle relaxation, where you force your muscles to let go and relax so you can think about the situation you are in and calm down. Let's practice. Sit up straight, close your eyes, and practice deep breathing. Scrunch up your shoulders as if you are trying to touch your earlobes. Count to 3, then drop your shoulders, letting them hang as if they are very heavy. You want to repeat this process 2 more times. Let's turn to the content questions for Unit 3, Lesson 11 in your iControl student workbook to check your understanding of this lesson. Pause the video while you answer the questions. When you're done, press play. For question 1, if you selected D, you're correct. Being mindful means not forming an opinion about your thoughts, but simply observing. For question 2, if you selected A, you're correct. Some relaxation strategies that help prepare us to be mindful and control our emotions are counting, deep breathing, and muscle relaxation. In Lesson 12, we'll review the think or act strategies of interpret and compare to help us manage difficult emotions. First, when you change the way you interpret a situation, you can change your emotional response by thinking about the positive parts of the situation or what you could do to make the situation better. Second, we can compare a situation to an earlier experience to change our emotional response. For example, if you got a B on a test but wanted an A, after thinking about being encouraged to work harder after getting a C in another class, you might feel better about the B. You also learned about the ACT strategies of mindfulness and relaxation, which can help you to calm down in difficult situations. Mindfulness is all about being aware of the present and tuning in to what is going on right now, but not analyzing it. It's about being aware. Counting, deep breathing, and muscle relaxation are relaxation strategies that can help you to calm yourself so you can think through a difficult situation. You actually use the brain skills you learned about in the beginning of iControl when you use the think and act strategies. You use impulse control to stop yourself from automatically reacting to an emotional situation. You use working memory to remember the strategy rules and use them. Finally, you use shifting to refocus and change your way of thinking so you can think positively in difficult situations. Let's practice using the interpret and compare strategies one more time. Locate handout 12.1 in your student workbook. Pause the video while you read each scenario and answer the questions. When you're done, press play. You also looked at a list of relaxation strategies, including counting and breathing strategies, which can help calm you down and relax so you can be more mindful. Turn to the content questions for Unit 3, Lesson 12 in your iControl student workbook to check your understanding of this lesson. Pause the video while you answer the questions. When you're done, press play. For question 1, if you selected C, you're correct. Relaxation strategies can help you calm down and relax so that you can be more mindful. For question 2, if you selected D, you're correct. We use shifting to change the way we think about a difficult emotional situation. Thank you for taking the time to catch up with iControl today. In Unit 4, you'll learn strategies to identify problems, select and evaluate solutions, and come up with a plan to reach your goal.